Hi guys, it's Misty. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a very green card to share with you today. The theme this Make It Always Fun Challenges is shades of green. So that's why I have so much green going on. But I'm using these adorable images by Purple Onion Designs. I absolutely love this company. They just produce the sweetest images. So I will have links to everything I use in the description below, and whatever won't fit down there, I will have a full list over on my blog, so you can head over there for more details. Before I get going, I'm going to put a link up at the top right hand corner. I'm doing a collaboration with this woman named Candace from Candace's Canvases, and it's just something new, something I've never done before. It's it's going to be a lot of fun. So go ahead and click on that if you want to check out what I'm talking about. But for now, let's go ahead and get going on this. So this card was almost a disaster. I really have no idea what I'm going to create when I sit down to make a card. So I have a lot of mistakes in this video and a lot of fix-its. So I will try to explain them as I go along. I've had to cut some of them out just to keep this video at a reasonable time. I mean, sometimes I have a couple hours of footage that I have to try to fit into a 10 to 15 minute video, and it's not always easy knowing what to cut out and what to leave in the videos. So I'm using some post-it tape here to mask my little images, and here's first thing that I really didn't need to do. I stamped this out on a piece of scrap cardstock just to kind of see where I wanted my images. I really didn't need to mask them, so it took me quite a while to cut out that little mouse and that little mouse tail, and it turned out it was for nothing. I didn't even need to do that. And I didn't even need to mask the whole rabbit. I really just had to mask off his little ear because his ear goes up into the background there. So that was a waste of a lot of time. I wanted to, I knew I wanted to watercolor this, and I thought I was going to watercolor the critters too, but I ended up changing that. So I'm just using my Mijello watercolors here to color the background, and I'm using Bristol Smooth paper, which was interesting with the watercoloring because I've read that Bristol paper is okay to use for watercoloring, but and it didn't it warped my paper a little bit, but it didn't. You know how some paper just kind of, I don't know, it like not dissolves, but it like starts to fall apart if you get too much if you manipulate it too much, put too much water and too much color on it. But that's definitely not the case. But it was interesting because the color, it just kind of sits on the paper sometimes. So it turned out, I mean, I love how it turned out. And I know Bristol is really good for ink blending. And I don't even remember. Maybe I was going to ink blend this at the beginning. Maybe that was an idea. I can't remember why I decided to put it on Bristol paper, but okay, so I'm going to go ahead and color the background with the watercolors. Oh, and before I forget, so I don't know if you guys know about this yet, but I just recently learned about this really cool feature on YouTube. So if you want to speed up the video a bit, you can click on either there's three little dots somewhere on your screen or the gear. You go to the settings and you click on the speed of the video. And I love this because you can speed it up or you can slow it down too, but you can speed it up to 1.25 or 1.5, and it goes all the way up to 2 times faster than the normal speed. I just think that's so cool. And at 1.25, you can still understand what the person is saying. So that's what I've been doing. 1.5 is kind of fast, but if you're not listening to them talk, some people will just play music in their videos, then you can definitely go up to 1.5 or 2. Seems like everyone's always in such a hurry. So I think it's a really great feature. All right, I'm just going to add some shading to my little trees here really quick. The background stamp is also from Purple Onion Designs. Can't remember if I said that already. Love how that tree looked out. I love how it's kind of lighter in the middle. So on with the green. I'm gonna add some grass now. I wanted to go in when I was done and add some details with the colored pencil, but I was afraid to mess it up, so I didn't do it. I've been seeing people do that, and it really kicks up the card a notch. Just didn't do it this time though. So I'm just adding a really light layer of tumbled glass for my sky, and then I'm going to go ahead and Copic color the animals. Yeah, I was going to watercolor them, and I started to, and I didn't really like the way, I just didn't like the way it was looking, so just busted out the Copics. And I'm just going to whiz through this because it's just super easy coloring. So I tried watercoloring the mouse, and I didn't like on scratch paper, and I didn't like how it was turning out. Then I started to try with my colored pencils, which you can kind of see around the nose. I added some colored pencil, and I didn't like that either. So I just went with the Copics. I know the Copics. I love the Copics. So I used some of the Express It blending card. I think that's what it's called, the Copic friendly paper. And I absolutely love how the Copics blend on that paper. I also on scrap paper tried to color on the Bristol paper with the Copics, and I just didn't like the way it blended. It did not blend well at all. So I decided to go with this paper that I always use and love, and had to cut the mouse out once again. Got lots of practice cutting the mouse out with that little tail. Moving right along to this cute little bunny now. Again, just doing really simple coloring, just 3 marker coloring. Not doing anything fancy. I said it in my last video, but I just can't say it enough. I signed up for the Kitten Clowder monthly coloring class. There's one for markers and one for colored pencils. You can do either or you could do both, which is what I chose to do, and it's worth every penny. It's a really great class. And you just learn a little bit of everything, and they explain why you're doing things as you're doing it. So just really good class. All right, so I'm just taking the darkest color and going in and touching up any areas that maybe I missed. And then, of course, I have to take my Memento black marker and go around the entire image. This just, it just really completes the image. If there's any imperfections, I did cutting it. Look how cute that is. The black marker will hide that, and it's a must for me. I have to go around the edges and just complete the image. I actually just learned how to color fur with colored pencils in this class, but these images were just too small to try getting all fancy. I love Copic coloring. I love how they look with just the 3 marker coloring too. I think I know I did. I shared the colored pencil fur coloring I did on my Instagram, I think, if you want to check it out. Okay, catching back up to speed here. So I'm taking the foam adhesive off the back of the rabbit because I thought, so on my background, I colored the images because I thought I was going to pop them up, and I just didn't want you to see a white, rabbit behind it. So I colored them just light coloring or just simple coloring so that if it was if you looked at it from the side, you'd be able to see that it was colored underneath it as well. But it just I don't know, it made the rabbit, it was stood too high off the paper or something, and I just didn't like it. And usually I love foam adhesive, but so I took the foam adhesive off. That was my other mistake. And yeah, just colored the ones on the background so you couldn't see behind it and see a white image. And then I decided to heat emboss my sentiment up in the tree with some gold embossing powder. I just thought that was a perfect place. I could have done it down in the grass too, but I loved how the tree kind of went, the shade got a little bit lighter, so I chose to put it in the tree. I tried to heat it on the back too to flatten out my card, my background there, but it didn't work, so I just put it in my grid paper for a while. All right, adding some multimedia matte to my also green frame. Remember, it's shades of green. Got lots of green here. So the sentiment is from Simon Says Stamp from a set called Roses for You. I think it's an older set. Might have been from last year. And then I'm just taking some strong adhesive because it's still a little bit warped and putting it on the back here. I'm putting some extra on just so it doesn't try to come unglued. And I at this point I thought, well, maybe I'll pop the mouse up because he's in you know, the forefront, but I ended up just gluing them both down. And then to wrap this up, I'm just going to use some multimedia matte glue to glue them both down. I use my glue pen on the mouse though, on the mouse's tail, because the glue pens are really good for tiny little areas like that tail is. Yeah, so that was a total waste to stamp them, mask them. I mean, I could have avoided those steps completely. And then I'm almost mess it up here in a second one more time, but I guess there wasn't as many mistakes as I thought there were, but when I was making this, it sure felt like I was making a whole lot of mistakes. Once I glue this down, I'm going to add some Spectrum Noir glitter pen to that cute little heart that the mouse is holding. And then, where I almost botched the whole thing again, I learned about this putting my glossy accents in a syringe from Corinne Wiskman, and I believe she sells the syringes on her Etsy channel now. I'll put a link in the description below to her YouTube channel, but it's a brilliant idea. My problem is I didn't practice with it. I didn't try it on a piece of paper first. I just went straight to my card and probably should have practiced first because it came out in a big gob, and luckily it was just the right amount. So I just quit squeezing any more out and I just spread it out, and it ended up working out perfectly. So because those clog-free caps are not clog-free. They always clog on me no matter what, especially with the glossy accent. So so far I'm really liking this syringe for the glossy accents. So check out her channel if you want to purchase just a couple syringes. And that is my card for this week. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please click on that like button. If you're new to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. I post a video about once a week. And head to my blog if you want more info on this card and how to enter the Always Fun Challenges blog. I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.